Hi, this is Stephanie Hansen, and you're listening to the Makers of Minnesota recap, where we go back to businesses that we have talked to over the course of the last 18 months. And I'm really pleased today to be talking with Gina from J. Carver Distillery. Gina, how are you doing? You were like my number one very first podcast.
Is it amazing? When you reached out, I said, holy cow, think of how much has changed since we first did that podcast together and what exciting things you've done.
Oh, well, and you likewise. I'm talking with Gina Holman. And Gina, so it was about 18 months ago that we originally, I called you and I said, hey, I'm doing this podcast. I've never done a recording before, so it might be kind of awkward, but will you be my first guest? And you politely said yes. How are things going at the distillery right now at J. Carver?
Amazing. Amazing to think of what's happened in 18 months. So many new products that we've rolled out over the course of that year and a half. And one of the biggest surprises for us was our J. Carver Barrel Gin.
Okay.
One of your faves.
Yes, the French, aged in a French barrel, or isn't that?
It's not even a French barrel. It's Minnesota made. It's a Minnesota oak barrel. What was destined for whiskey is the barrel gin. And so what we've realized over the course of this year and a half is really educating the consumer on how to make some incredible cocktails with something as unique as a barrel gin. So it's our gin that we put in whiskey barrels that were made here in Minnesota and let it rest for that 4 and 5 months. We are so excited to be the first to create it here in Minnesota. And the coolest thing is to see a lot of the restaurants and the bartenders getting behind it and making amazing cocktails like Bee's Knees and Barrel Gin Old Fashioned and even Moscow Mules, Negronis. It's just been really fun to see.
Yeah, and I think I started with that just by sipping.
And you did. I remember when you said, I just sip it. So we loved the fact that we could take that educational approach behind these local spirits that are being distilled here at J. Carver and taking it like saying, you don't like gin, but you love whiskey, so how about trying something like a whiskey lover's gin? And sip it, see the elegance and the taste behind it, and then this is how you can make it into a cocktail. And then just to see the movement with a lot of the mixologists in the cities has been really, really exciting.
Well, and in the life of a distillery, I'm imagining that 18 months is a long time because you're barrel aging all these different introductions. So since we talked last, you have other like brand new products that didn't even exist then.
Exactly. And so what we've really come to see is our Sevilla liqueur, which is taking our wheat whiskey and kind of doing a spin like a Grand Marnier, putting orange peel and the vanilla bean in the cask, and then bottling it with just a little bit of sweetness. So that's been a huge success. And just like you said, our barrel program, the whiskey explosion that we've seen here at J. Carver Distillery has just been paramount. We've put away over 1,400 barrels, and just to see the excitement between our J. Carver bourbon whiskey and now to see the Brickyard bourbon and our J. Carver rye and our Runestone rye now being aged for 2 and 3 years has been such a pleasure to watch what the taste profile has been with just having those many more years under our belt.
As each year goes by or each month goes by, have sales been meeting your business plan, and are you on an upward trajectory?
Yes, drink more, Minnesota.
Just drink more. It's very simple.
Just drink more, and we're going to keep on. It's almost like that little yodeler on The Price is Right. We just keep on climbing up that mountain. So we're working like crazy. The exciting thing that we've done is expand into Wisconsin as well.
Mm-hmm.
And
I did not know that.
Oh, yes, it's been amazing. So we started a year ago, August, really going up the corridor from like River Falls, Prescott, all the way up to Madeline Island and Bayfield.
Mm-hmm.
And that's been hugely successful. So much love for Jay Carver. We're extremely grateful. And then about, I'd say April of this year, of 2018, we launched into Green Bay.
Wow.
And that's been great as well.
Is the story a little bit different there? Because do you tout the Minnesota-made piece, or do you tout more the craft distillery piece?
I think what people really have an emotional connection with is local collaboration, local business. Yes, Minnesota, but a lot of it is just that Midwest grain to glass approach to distilling, and the fact that they know that we're working with 3 local farmers that are 15 minutes from the distillery, and that we have such a connection with them and such a connection with the land. And then more further is then our collaboration with so many of our local businesses, including our label company, our bottle company, the barrel, the cooperages that are giving us all of the barrels to age our whiskeys in. And so they really are grateful to our business strategy, and that we're not deviating from that grain to glass approach to distillation, and really honing in on the science and the craft of distillation right here in our own backyard in Minnesota. But one thing that I've realized as I've traveled to launch those cities and those states is that there's such a love for the Midwest. And so many have either gone to college there, and now 20 years later are really excited about this craft spirits movement. And so the support has been, quite frankly, overwhelming.
When you think back 18 months, has there been anything that was a failure that you were thinking it was going to go this way and it went another way instead?
I wouldn't say a failure, but I would say a challenge is, I think you and I talked about this. The fact that we're in Waconia makes people think that we're at the South Dakota border.
Yep.
And so the fact that we are so huge on the educational component here, the tours and the tastings at the distillery, it's really trying to get the word out that J. Carver Distillery exists here in Minnesota, and we are literally 30 minutes from home plate. So for all of your listeners that are listening to this, please come see us at J. Carver Distillery. We are a hop and skip and a jump from your backyard. So it's nothing that was a challenge from our product line. We're so excited about our spirits, and we have such a group out there that just loves J. Carver Distillery spirits. So we're super grateful for that. I think the challenge is to let people know that we're just in their backyard, and drive, 20 minutes further from the 494 loop, and you're right at J. Carver Distillery to experience a beautiful tour and tasting here to see what we're doing.
One of the things that I think is really unique about you, and I really appreciate about you, is, there's competition in your industry. We've obviously seen a proliferation of distilleries, but you continue to ride this line that I think is really interesting, where you are fully promoting your own product, but you are also really involved in just promoting the nature of distilling and the localness of all the craft cocktail businesses that we have here locally. I really appreciate that about you. Has that been something that you purposefully did?
I think it's just my DNA because of my background. I don't know how to do anything else other than that. And it's because before starting the distillery with Bill and our team, it's that I had the restaurant and liquor store in Wayzata and was in the industry, in the trenches, behind the bar and behind the counters, and selling everybody else's spirits and craft products for 34 years before actually launching J. Carver. And so to me, I love teaching by trade. I mean, that's just who I am. Also, I just want to keep on pushing the educational component of there are so many choices out there. So why not choose craft? Why not choose something that's happening in your backyard? And then let the consumer really get to know what their purchase power is going to do by investing in a local business and investing in a local distillery like J. Carver Distillery. So that's all I know. There's so many international brands out there. There's so many that I love, but this grain to glass approach, this very grassroots effort that's happening here in many of our restaurants and our liquor stores, I just want to keep on promoting that because I think it's just going to keep on growing our local environment, which once we do that, we're going to keep on creating amazing jobs and opportunities for our kids coming up through the ranks and graduating from college. I want them to have a great job.
Yeah.
And if I can keep on, doing my best work to help that effort, I want to keep on supporting local.
Well, I really appreciate that about you, and I appreciate you agreeing to be my first guest and to recap and revisit you. I will see you soon, Miss Gina.
Okay, appreciate you so much, Steph.
You bet. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye.